Good morning, good afternoon, wherever in the world you are. So, talk to you about one-trick ponies. They always tell you, that's the saying, right? You're just a one-trick pony, or don't be a one-trick pony. The thing they don't tell you, though, is that people mastered that one trick. And once you master something so well, you can execute it differently and get different results. You know what I mean? Essentially the same, but just in a different way. So, example, let's say Michael Jordan, right? Michael's thing was basketball. That's his one trick. He mastered the game of basketball. But it wasn't just about the game. It was different parts of the game. So it wasn't just about being a scorer. He could do that. He mastered that very well. Then it was about defense. And then he took defense, and then he mastered that so well, to the point where he's Defensive Player of the Year. Then it wasn't just about that. Then it was about game winners. Do you trust me enough to hit this game winning shot? And, you got to fail often sometimes in order for you to make it. And he did more times than he did miss. But that became something else he mastered. Then it took that, and then it became even bigger. You mastered basketball, and now you have a shoe deal. And now you're the biggest and still the number one selling shoe in the world. You know what I mean? So they don't tell you about tricks. They just say don't be a one-trick pony. They don't tell you about how to master that one trick and then execute it differently in different avenues, like Jay-Z. Jay-Z's trick is selling. What he sells is completely different. So it went from selling drugs in the beginning, then to selling music, and then to selling clothes, and then to selling shoes. First non-athlete with a shoe. Then it became club owner. Then it became sports agency. Then it became streaming services. There's different avenues. All for one trick, though. His one trick is just selling. It's not even about the music. Music is just one other trick he mastered, but it came from selling. How do you sell the music? It's okay to be a one-trick pony. You just need to know how to master that one trick. You think Houdini was just only had one trick? He knew how to master the aspect of tricks, how to make you see things without seeing things. So no, don't just be a one-trick pony. What that means is don't just have one way of doing things. But if you're gonna be a one-trick pony, master that one way and figure out how to execute it differently. That's what they don't tell you. So figure out what your trick is. Figure out what your one trick is. What's the one thing you do well? And ask yourself, have you mastered that? Or how close are you to mastering that? So that you can execute that same trick differently. So that it looks different to other people. Or it doesn't look as the same. Michael Jordan mastered the game of basketball. I don't think there was one thing that looks the same. Every time he got ready to do something, whether it was dunk or whether it's some amazing move, a fadeaway, it looked completely different. It didn't really look the same. It looked the same essentially, but it does not look the same every time he did it. It's like, wow, how did he do that? Same thing with Kobe, and with Jay-Z or Nipsey, Just one trick, just execute it differently. And so therefore it looks different and it feels different. So therefore people respond to it differently, even though it's the same one trick. So ask yourself, what's your thing? What's your one trick? What's the one thing that you can do very, very well? Something that you can say that you probably have mastered, or at least mastering still, so that you can take that and execute it differently. Focus on that today and keep it moving. It's Motivation Monday, man. Go be dope.